Whenever you enter into a tiny house, it is so different from entering into your own home or your friend's home.
So much space.
The tiny house, being 19 square foot, is vastly different than my normal home at 2,500 square foot. Ta-da! This is a portable toilet, believe it or not. What drew me to liking tiny houses is just how small they can be while having everything you would need for a functional living space. Check that out. Where I live, houses can be very, very large, but I want to see how small houses can get. I'm Levi Kelly. I built this tiny house in my front yard here in Southern Ohio. Let's check it out.
Go camping, Daddy. Get in, Daddy.
Okay. What do you see this time?
I see a T-Rex.
My name is Levi Kelly, and I'm 27 years old. I built a tiny house the size of a closet here in Southern Ohio. I estimate that it took around $5,000 to build this tiny home. I've slept in this tiny house a couple times. The first time was last summer. Me and my son stayed in it.
Weston, thank you.
We had a small mattress on the floor, believe it or not, and I slept up top. Time for bed, Weston?
Yep.
The second time was during a snowstorm on my property. This tiny home is off-grid and it's powered by the sun, or it can plug into a standard outlet and be charged that way much quicker, and that goes directly to my battery system underneath my bench. When it's fully charged, it can last around 10 hours. It would take a very special type of human to desire being in the space all the time. I could make it work if I absolutely had to. Would I want to? No. This is not the first tiny house that I've built. The first tiny house that I've owned was about 330 square feet, and that was my first real exposure to building and renovating home spaces. And then this is the second tiny house that I've owned, and I built this one all by myself from the ground up. So the estimated cost of this tiny house was around $5,000. I didn't keep track of everything. I got some things for free. I already had a lot of the material as well. The most expensive thing in this tiny house build is, of course, the AC and heating unit. I think I got a refurbished one for like $600. It was a big investment, but I think it's worth it because that's what really differentiates this place from other tiny houses this size. I decided to build this tiny house because I saw online other people building similar structures and seeing how small a space can get while keeping it functional. And I thought I can go even smaller and have it as functional as it needs to be. I took the trailer in my front yard, and it took me about a month to build this off and on throughout the days.
All done.
There were several mistakes in building this tiny house. There's 2 solar panels up on the roof. Unfortunately, only one can be used at a time because of the way the sun works. It can't shine on both at the same time. Another mistake was the bed situation. So I thought I was gonna have enough room inside to lower the bed and I would crawl up into the bed. Well, when the bed's folded down, you have about a 1 foot space to climb up in there. So luckily I can be able to squeeze myself up in there. It's pretty tight, but I wish that was a little bit different. It does take a little bit of flexibility. Another mistake would be the size of the trailer. I think this is too heavy for the trailer. I've never taken it on the interstate. I don't think that'd be a wise idea, but I do think the trailer is just too small for the amount of weight I put on it.
There's the wall. That's the wall, and there's the wall.
This is the inside of my tiny house. Of course, you can see I'm standing in it very comfortably. I'm 5'10", so if you're taller than me, this might be a little bit of an issue. But the first thing you see when you walk in is my bench space. It was important to me to differentiate the bench from the bed. Underneath is prime opportunity for storage, of course. This first one is the AC and heating unit. This pipe duct pumps the hot air out of the tiny house. And then I have this movable duct piece right here for the air, so you can move it wherever you want. Down here on the other side is the massive battery bank, and that is plenty of power to power this tiny house. This thing folds down into my bed. It's a single bed, it's kind of tight. You can see I can fit up here and get in very nicely. We'll hang that back up. This is the kitchen space. So I wanted the inside to be very luxurious. So you can see some of the trim is exotic wood, Paduke right here, Peruvian walnut for the countertop space. On this side, we have a mini fridge. This sink was an important choice because it can fold away. We can take this chop block off and open up the faucet right here. So underneath, we have some more storage. There's a freshwater tank right here and a gray water tank. So how do you make any meals in here? Well, this is the cooktop. This is cedar exterior. I did it for the lightweight and the beauty of it, but I stained it black to give it a really cool look. I have string lights hung all around, just give it a nice little glow. Here we have the shower space. So of course I couldn't fit the shower inside, but I still wanted one. You can unlock right here. We open up the shower head. I have a mount right there, and watch, we can turn it on with ease. Make sure you park this in a private spot so nobody's seeing you. We have solar panels up top, and this powers the battery that is inside to give me power. And of course, we have the trailer right here. Where is the bathroom in this tiny house? What do I have to do? Well, it is in here. Open up the lid. Ta-da! This is your toilet. You can use it in the outdoors, or it fits inside, of course, but it works like a normal toilet. Use it, it can flush, and then you're done. You can just store it back away. Just like this. I have plans to build other tiny houses in the future. Right now, I'm building my office space. It's going to be the size of a tiny house, 160 square foot, and that's going to be a template for future tiny house builds on the back part of my property, which are going to be Airbnbs that guests can come stay at. It's in the style of a shepherd's hut, which are big in the UK, and I really like the look of them. Make sure it's pointing at me.
It's pointing at you.
Okay. Would I sleep in this tiny house again? Not out of choice. I like my bed with my family, and that's enough for me. So my plan with the tiny house now is to hopefully sell it. I don't know how much this thing is worth at all, probably a couple $1,000s, but I'll use that money and put it towards my future builds, and I can focus on those things.